I think this should be counted as an episode in top 10 scariest video game tracks since I'm talking about gaming. Consoles from the past amaze me, not just because they're old ancient relics and because of their history, but because they house one of the most amazing games ever, and because of their creative and unique startup splash screens. But with every good console and every good thing, there's also the bad thing. Deep within the very depths of these gaming consoles come these certain and peculiar sounds that will make us feel uneasy or creeped out. I've definitely experienced some of these, and they've spooked me, and I think I should share my experience while I'm going through this video. So here are some of the most creepiest gaming console sounds. If you ever owned a Nintendo Wii, then most likely you've heard this sound before, the Horn of Death. The sound will play if the game suddenly crashed, or if there was an error within the console. Here, have a look. While I couldn't find a video, I did find an MP3 of it. The simple and non-changing sound when the game crashes is pretty eerie, and it doesn't end unless you turn off the console, which takes a few seconds. Thankfully, this is the only Nintendo error that's actually kinda eerie. If you ever inserted a Sega Dreamcast disc into a foreign console, then most likely you've heard this warning sound. This warning sound tells you that the disc is not meant for audio use, and that you must eject the disc immediately. But certain variations of this warning is quite creepy. Here, listen.
Warning! This disc is for use only on Sega Dreamcast. Warning! This disc is for use only on Sega Dreamcast.
Now, the strange, startling, and eerie sound that plays after the woman spoke suffice most likely have been the game data in an audio format. If you inserted the disc and put it into a track where the game data lies, then the game data would get messed up. But the audio is in such a way that's quite eerie and creepy. The sound definitely spooked me, but didn't spook me as much as the next one.
This error would only show up if you decided to put your Sega CD disc into a radio or audio player. Unlike the Dreamcast era seen before, this one is more startling due to what I will refer to as background noise. Don't believe me? Have a listen.
Warning: this disc is for use with a Sega CD system only. This disc contains CD-ROM data and is not for audio use. Please press stop on your disc player now. This disc contains CD-ROM data that may damage your audio system. Please stop playing this disc immediately.
Not only does this error make you take out that disc from your audio player, it will make you want to destroy that disc as well as your Sega CD console, so you would never have to hear this error again. But if this error makes you want to destroy your system, what could be worse? How is there 4 errors that are apparently worse than that? Well, I'm glad you asked.
The PS2's red screen that is one of the most infamous errors of all time, mainly because of the visuals and its audio. It is so eerie and creepy that it all reminds us to not put in any scratch discs and to keep them clean. Thanks, Sony. Here's the video. I've experienced this so many times when I've owned a PS2, and it definitely spooked me. The haunting music that plays during the error and the big red fog going down is really creepy. Of all the errors in this list, this one's the most bizarre. Personified fear occurs when you insert an unreadable disc or if the BIOS is corrupted. Here's the sound. That error sound does a great job of me getting out of the living room and turning off the console. The sudden swoosh of the sound at the end does a great job of getting me goosebumps, and I expect a jump scare due to the silence that precedes. Thankfully, there was none of that. If you guessed that this was Fearful Harmony, then congrats, you're correct. Fearful Harmony is one of the two errors that are in the PS1. If you insert an unreadable disc, or if the disc was pirated, you would get an error like this. Here's what it looks like. Technically, this is not an error, but this sound was so bizarre, I had to add it in. This Xbox sound will start if you put an Xbox disc into a foreign console, such as a PS2 or PS3. Here's the sound. I think you were surprised to see the towards of number 0. Well, this one comes from Xbox, and this one's the scariest out of all of them. So scary, this actually gave me nightmares. A whole video based on this will be coming soon. Anyways, the entire soundtrack of the Xbox is freaking terrifying. Here's the soundtrack in its entirety. This soundtrack did a great job of me getting nightmares for the first time I ever listened to it. The really horrifying music and the robotic sound gives me goosebumps. This soundtrack is actually transmissions from NASA during the Apollo days, but was amplified in such a way that it sounds quite creepy. Just because this Xbox had sounds that made it look like it was from another world, didn't mean that it made us kids look like it was a superior console. It just made us have nightmares. Today's consoles could learn a thing or two from the past. They cannot do scary errors, or else they'll bring children nightmares. Take a look from Sony. Sony got sued because of the inappropriate error screen. So, thank you guys for watching, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.